Hello and welcome to an evening edition of Showbiz Buzz with Bruno, presented by Mads Theater. And we are so delighted to have the newly anointed artistic director of the Children's Theater of Madison with us today, Brian Cowing. Brian, thank you so much for coming today.
Thanks so much for having me.
I know you are so busy with multiple chores. I'm so glad you took time out of your schedule.
Of course.
To come and chat with us today.
It's an honor to be here.
Lovely. Thank you. So for maybe somebody that doesn't know you or know what your early life and early career is, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I grew up here in Madison. I went to Middleton High School and got involved with Children's Theater of Madison early on in life. I was a munchkin and a flying monkey, my first show with CTM on the Oscar Mayer stage, which is now the Capitol Theater. And what a show to get the bug with, right?
Boy, no
Wizard
kidding.
of Oz. So there was flying, and I got to fly on stage.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
cool.
So of course, it stuck. But yeah, so then I did a lot of theater in high school with Linda Sharp, who was the drama director at Middleton back then, and then went to college for musical theater at Oklahoma City University, and fell in love with directing there. I came back and forth every summer to work with Four Seasons Theater, and started choreographing with one of my mentors, Katrina Brunner, and learned so much from her and that experience, and kind of worked my way up from dance captain to assistant choreographer to director within that company. And then after school, I kind of didn't know which route I wanted to take. Was it directing? Was it performing? And I came back here right after school to save money, and directed Les Mis for Four Seasons Theater. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go try my luck in New York and see what happens, and moved out there. And I booked a job within three months, and was working at the Palace Theater in New Hampshire on Spam-A-Lot and Producers and A Christmas Carol, and had a great time out there. And while I was there, I booked the national tour of Annie, and so then
where we saw you in LA.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
And I was on Annie for a year and a half as the dance captain, and Mr. Bundles the laundryman, and touring the country with eight little girls and two dogs, and all the moms and the handlers.
And how long was that tour?
So it goes on for a long time.
How long were you with
a year and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. So did about 400 shows of Annie, and that's a lot of time singing Tomorrow. So
Boy, no. And the little kids probably grew up.
Yeah. Yep.
They probably rotated the cast.
Once their shoes stop fitting, that's a good sign that.
Sorry, honey, but we're canceling your contract because your shoes don't fit.
Yeah, it's like the feet grow first and then they shoot up. So, but it was an amazing time, and getting to work with Martin Charnin, who wrote the lyrics for the show and a lot of the book, and he was the director for the tour. So getting to work with him was fantastic. So after Annie, I moved back here for a little bit, and that's when I really started working with Children's Theater Madison. I got to direct their 50th anniversary production of Wizard of Oz, which was really meaningful to me, and kind of did a show a year with them until casting called from the tour of Something Rotten, and I got an audition for that and sent to tape, and that was back before putting yourself on tape was a big big thing.
Right.
And I booked a job without ever stepping into the room, which was back then not
I know, isn't that crazy?
So now it's a very common practice, but
thanks to COVID.
Thanks to COVID. So that was so I was on a year on Something Rotten, and got to go to Seoul, Korea. I mean, never dreamed I would get to go there. So and then after that, I moved back to Madison, had some directing gigs lined up, and COVID hit, and that was a time then that Sarah Marty, who's the head of the Bolt Center, kind of was like, hey, Brian, I think you should think about this, 1-year program that we're starting at the Bolt Center at UW-Madison for Arts Administration. And we were the first class of this new 1-year program. And I did that kind of as my COVID project. And that's when I started really working with CTM in the admin side of things for my applied learning placement. And then after that, I kept on working in development for them for a little bit and on and off, directing as well. And then, let's see, about a year and a half ago, Roseanne Sheridan announced her retirement, and they named me interim artistic director with full understanding that I would have to go through the whole process of interviewing, and which was about, a 4-month process of four different interviews and all of that. And then just this January, I got the job. So
Yay!
That's where I am. And I started kind of right away. And it's funny because I had probably the best year of freelance directing work I've ever lined up for this year right now. So that's what I'm in the middle of. So I got to keep a lot of those jobs, but I'm still doing this full-time job, which is amazing.
I was so happy to hear that, because a lot of times when, when a big company or place, especially in Madison, and they do these big, job searches.
Yeah.
And then 9 times out of 10, they end up bringing somebody that doesn't know anything about Madison, doesn't know anything about the company.
Yeah.
And they have to learn all that on the run. It's like when they named you interim, it's like, why name him interim? I mean, Brian is the obvious choice. How could you even think of bringing anybody else in? Because you knew everything there was to know about the company.
Yeah.
And you knew what about Madison. You're a Madisonian. It's like, that's the perfect fit. It's like, come on, but I understand the whole corporate idea of like, you got to bring people in, you got to do this, you got to do
and
that.
it was a good period of like focusing my thoughts of what CTM could be, and like really getting that collaboration with the board and with the staff, and just hearing them too. So that was a huge plus of that.
Plus,
that
during
period.
all that is when they actually had the Meyertz building.
So
up and running.
Yeah,
right?
Meyertz opened in COVID, so we didn't get the ribbon cutting or anything like that with a new building. But still at Meyertz, which is unbelievable facilities, and we're really performing there now too. We just did Lightning Thief, which was a completely sold out show. And
I know. I'm so sad we were in California that time, so I really wanted to see that.
Yeah, it was a great production, and that was in the theater at Meyertz. So yeah.
But you still do shows at the Overture, right? Are you still a resident? Are you still a resident company
organization of Overture Center, and still doing Christmas Carol, and we're going to do another Capitol big musical next year. Can't say what it is yet, but
stay tuned.
Yeah. So yes, we're still at Overture, and Overture is one of our homes as well. So yeah.
And it's also really nice, like you said, you still have other projects with other companies, and they didn't say, no, sorry, you work for us now, and you can only be doing things for CTM, because you're also stage directing for Madison Opera, right?
Yeah, yep. So one of the projects I had lined up was Candide with Madison Opera, and you just can't say no to Candide. I mean, you never get to do it. It's a big show. I just actually came from the Sitzprobe of it with the orchestra, with everybody. It's beautiful. It's just amazing. It's huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, but you've done shows with Madison Opera before, haven't you?
So this is my directing debut. I've never directed an opera before. This is my first opera. I choreographed She Loves Me for them 2 Februarys ago. So yeah. It's been a great time with them. The opera world is a little different than music theater world, and it's kind of fun to like be in a different environment as well.
But it's big.
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
There's nothing little about opera.
No, and it's moving 40 people around the stage pretty much the whole show, and I think the costume wise, there's like 1,000 costume pieces in the show, and it's really fun. The set's all color blocked, so every new location we go to is a different color, and that's really fun.
And they bring in outside talent, but they also use a lot of Madison talent as well, right?
The whole chorus is local, and Bobby Goderich is. We love Bobby.
We love our Bobby.
Shout out to Bobby. He's playing the governor, and Jenny Hauser, who grew up here, is Cunegonda. I mean, she's unbelievable. Oh my gosh, glitter and be gay. It's a magical team. Yeah,
that's so cool. So now, is John DeMaine, I'm assuming, is conducting it?
He is.
Does he also do the music direction with everybody too?
Yep.
So
he's in the
your first time actually collaborating with him?
Yeah, he did She Loves Me as well. But yes, kind of director maestro kind of relationship. And then the wonderful Anthony Kao is the chorus master as well. So he's unbelievable with the chorus. So yeah.
And does it make all the difference in the world when you work with people that you not only think, these are, amazing people with a lot of talent.
Oh my gosh.
And you think, what am I doing here? You had that little bit of like, wait a minute, what am I?
I had that all the time.
But it's so great that we have, number one, the facilities.
Yeah.
And then we have those people, artists, in residence in places like that.
Yeah.
In Madison.
Yeah.
Which is so great. So, back in the day when we were in high school, there was very little options for anything. And now it's just kind of grown and grown and grown and grown to where we have these amazing facilities.
Yeah.
And we have companies that start up that I had never even heard of last week.
That's
And
amazing.
it's like, what is that theater company? We have a dance company called that?
Yeah.
Oh, who's this person?
I mean, the Madison art scene is just crazy.
It is
crazy.
It is. It is.
We're so
amazing.
lucky.
Yeah, very, very lucky. So Candide is this weekend, right?
Yeah, the 26th and 28th. So Friday show and a Sunday show. Yeah,
Cool.
at Overture Hall. So, which is huge as well.
Yeah,
everything
big.
about it's big.
Everything is huge.
Yes.
we don't want to make the head like that talks about it. Though.
Yeah.
We don't talk about him. He's very busy these days.
Yes.
Sitting in courtrooms.
That's right.
So after Candide, then you'll be doing Diary of Anne Frank.
Yeah, so CTM is producing the Diary of Anne Frank May 4th through the 18th for 3 weekends. And Roseanne Sheridan, Artistic Director Emeritus now of CTM, is directing that. And just an amazing, so my day has been really full. It's an amazing day. I got to sit in on the Anne Frank rehearsal this morning and then went to Candide and now I'm here.
See?
But yeah, I got to sit in and it's just going to be a fantastic show. And just so heartfelt. And, we at CTM, a lot of people think that it's only kids performing, but we have professional adults alongside our talented youth as well. And the young lady, Ava, who plays Anne, is a Middleton high school student and is just unbelievable. And I'm so proud. So, yeah.
And this is an adaptation of the original play, right?
Yep. Wendy Kesselman did an adaptation a while ago, a full-length adaptation, and then this is a new TYA, Theater for Young Audience version that she is doing as well. And it's brand new last year. So we are one of the first companies in the nation to do it.
Wow. Yeah. And this will be at the Playhouse.
At the Playhouse, right? Yeah.
And that's coming up in May, is that right?
Yes, in May.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
That's very cool. Well, it's kind of a nice to actually have, bring Roseanne in to take a little bit of the directorial heat off of you for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so lucky to have Roseanne as a mentor and, always to pick up the phone and call her. And, she really changed the face of the company when she came in and had to rebuild so much. And so CTM owes a lot to her. And I'm so thankful for her mentorship and friendship and everything.
So what years were you in high school at Middleton?
Yeah, so I went to Middleton, I graduated in 2008.
Oh, so you don't know about the old CTM when it was in Regina Hall
No.
at College. That's my era.
Yeah, with
That's
Nancy.
Yep. CTM was Nancy, yes,
Yep.
and the original.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that place was so horrible. Oh my God, how we did shows in that basement theater. You ever been down in Regina Hall at all? At Edgewood College?
So. No. Mm-mm.
No, that was way before they built the new theater.
Okay.
It was actually one of the dorms.
Wow.
And it was down in this really down in the basement. And it was a treat and a joy to do children's theater back then those days. So that was my early beginnings right after Stagecoach Players in the summer was doing CTM and then Theater Guild. Those are my up and coming things. So what shows did you do when you were at Middleton?
Let's see. We did Rumors, which was so fun, and Pajama Game, Crazy for You. As a senior project, I did Your Good Man Charlie Brown, Midsummer Night's Dream. Linda had, we did 6 shows in a year, which is crazy.
Whoa, that's nuts.
Which is amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, now they do 2, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. And Middleton, Katrina still does, I think 5 or 6 as well. Wow. So it's crazy.
Wow. Yeah. So were you in Pajama Game?
Yeah, I was Sid.
I was Heinzie.
Oh my gosh. I love that show.
I love that show.
Yeah.
That's back when Theater Guild was still doing shows in the auditoriums of the high schools.
Yeah.
So we were in the old West High School.
Oh my gosh.
And we didn't have body mics. We didn't have anything. So it was like, sing out, Louise!
Yes.
We're in the Pajama Game by the 40th floor.
Get over the orchestra.
Exactly.
That's
so cool.
amazing.
Very, very cool. And now there's also something brand new that's happening, a first time forever, with CTM. Tell us a little bit about that.
We're venturing into kind of an unknown territory. We're going to do a little dinner theater experience on June 1st. It's called Taste of Broadway, and it's going to be at the Sylvie, which is an amazing space, and really excited. We're going to have food and entertainment. It's going to be with local professionals here, adults, and our talented youth of CTM, and it's just going to be a great time. It's going to be about 75 minutes of music, of kind of Broadway classics, and I'm really excited about it.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
And how fun to do something like that at the Sylvie. It's such a music venue.
Yeah.
And they've had, great, touring bands, but it's kind of fun to be able to do some Broadway and some theater.
Yeah. Yep. And, I think Fort Atkinson is like the closest dinner theater kind of experience. And, but yeah, it's going to be a blast. And, tickets are available at ctmtheater.org, and there's still room, and it's, you can do the dinner and a show, or you can sit up in the balcony and just see the show. So that's a great way to, support CTM.
And is it already cast? Are you in rehearsals already?
Yep. Not in rehearsals yet, but coming up. So yeah, we'll have a bunch of the Lightning Thief cast in it, and local Bobby, of course, Bobby and Abby Nichols and Emily Glick, and it's
my
great.
favorite people.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
Great team on it. So yeah.
That's really exciting. And that's going to then roll right into your summer program for kids, right?
Yeah, it's a busy time.
Incredibly busy time.
Yeah. So Summer Stage is our summer programs at CTM, and it's either 1, 2, or 3 week classes that kids of all ages, different programs as well for them, and it's filling up fast. It's a great sign for us and for the arts community in Madison that kids are raring to go and get back into the classroom. And so we have 3-week programs that do a full junior version of shows. We have 2-week cabaret series that kind of pick a focus and a theme and build a cabaret around that. And then we have like 1-week classes that are improv focused and things like that. So it's a great time to, if you're interested or know a kid that's interested, just visit our website.
And that's during June?
It's June, July, August.
Oh, June, July, August. So you're rotating out for different groups of kids coming in for different programs.
Yep, 9 weeks. So we'll have about 800 to 900 kids through My Arts in the summer. Yeah,
that's amazing.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah.
And is it strictly for performing?
There's some creative classes as well. We have somewhat of a page to stage class kind of, and costume creation is one, and so I hope that's in my plans. I hope to have a kind of a technical theater boom as well.
I think that is so crucial and so needed, because we how it is trying to find tech people, and so you got to teach the youngins and get them trained and think, okay, these are things you could possibly have as a job now, because there's a job market.
Just exposure to everything that knowing what a dresser does, and a wardrobe supervisor,
right?
And all these different things that are so backstage that just going into the audience and sitting down, you wouldn't know that is a job. So yeah, so important. And I love all the people that do those jobs, because they're part of a huge part of making the show possible.
Sure.
Yeah.
So now that you have all these things crammed into the next couple months, what's your future thoughts for CTM?
Yeah.
What do you have in your vision for the next step for?
We have a great season, coming up, which I can't talk about yet. We're going to announce it at the Taste of Broadway.
Yeah.
But it's kind of centered around giving youth voice and having something to say, and I think that's a really important aspect of young people, and in developing times, and just we all went through COVID and coming out of that, and there's a little bit of trauma that we've collectively gone through, and just kind of coming out of that and knowing who you are and being confident in that. So I'm really excited to have young people in every show again. We have a great show at the end of the season that's really it's about environmental issues, and it focuses on teens, and it has 12 young teens that have great roles that are juicy, and and it's a play, and so I'm really, really excited about that one. It's definitely one to watch out for. But yeah, I think we don't shy away from hard topics at CTM, and I think that's a huge thing in theater for young audiences, that we don't underestimate what a kid can take in and what they can get out of a show. Yeah.
And I think, kids are, like you say, they're so amazing because, fortunately I got, to still do my job during COVID. And I watched all these juniors and seniors in high school. They were like, we're not going to be able to do our junior, senior year musicals. We're like, what's happening? And how they all adapted and how the teachers and the directors all turned these, theater kids into video and film kids, and how they all said, we want to give you something to remember in your last years of your high school years. And they were doing these amazing in their own homes. So they had to learn how to work the camera, get their own costumes, get their props, rehearse everything, all doing it, through a different medium and learning how to act for that. Because it's a whole, it's a whole different ball game acting for the camera than it is being on stage. And these kids put out some unbelievable things. I was so impressed with them, and really impressed that the schools continue to do that, just to throw up their hand and say, well, it's COVID. Sorry, kids, but, if you'd graduated 2 years ago, we would have done it, or we hope it'll go away soon. They did something that was incredibly important and constructive, and it taught those 2 years of kids a whole different set of creative outlets for them to be able to say, we know how to turn a camera on, or we know what it's like to be the person who gets the props, or does my own hair, does my own makeup,
so important.
That then translates into thinking, okay, now when you're in the theater, you have a whole other appreciation for the people who do those things, because you've actually done it yourself.
We have also a great program that has another event coming up. Young Playwrights is coming up April 30th, and we go into schools and do workshops of, and try to get them to write 10-minute plays. And it's really cool, kind of going off your point of newfound passions and loves, and that kids are writing, and we've had 3 times as many from last year play submissions this year. So it's amazing.
Wow.
So you'll get to see a stage reading of 10 plays by 10 different students around Dane County, and
that's so cool. So does your outreach go to just Dane County, or do you go further out, like southern Wisconsin?
All of southern Wisconsin. So and we have student matinees as well. That takes from all over. I forget how far. There was some school that drove an hour and a half from to go come see Percy Jackson, which was amazing. That's an early morning for
no kidding. Kidding.
We're growing tremendously in the community, and just our scope of people coming in, for sure.
And who are some of the other people that you work with in the administrative side?
So Alan Ebert is the executive director, and just Erica Berman is the education director, and is fantastic. And it's a great team. So, and Trevin Gay is my associate, and we just did today. They partnered and did a reading for Earth Day.
Monday, right?
So they just did three plays that were written by youth that had something to do with environmental issues, and performed that today. So
that's so cool. I'm always a champion for getting kids interested, number one, and hook them while they're young, and giving them a creative outlet, because a lot of the times, even now that they're doing even middle school, because the whole Disney project that the Overture was doing, they would actually do the junior versions, where they would just started out. The high schools get all the good stuff, they do all the big stuff, but going into middle schools and even grade schools, and really watching these kids have an outlet, because in the regular curriculum in public schools, those things are the first things that get cut.
Oh my gosh, yes.
There are no art teachers anymore. There's probably not a music teacher. There's probably not a drama teacher. It's all rolled in. Well, you can do it after school, or you can go to CTM and do it in the summer, and then but during their actual curriculum. They don't have that outlet, but more and more now. It's
more and more
really
they're bringing.
Encouraging. There's companies like CTM, companies that are actually, recognize the fact that these kids have creativity and an outlet, and if you can bring it to them,
and it's so. I mean, last year I watched our Young Playwrights Festival, and just the topics and the themes that are brought out in those shows, who knew that that was the issue of the day, and like that just informs us about what kids are interested in and what topics need to be talked about, and in our classes, in our on main stage, and everything. So YP, we call it Young Playwrights, is like a little window into their world, because it's their voice, which is amazing. Yeah.
So with all your directorial caps that are on now, what's the one role you haven't done?
Oh man,
that you are like your dream role before you age out of it.
Oh, role. Oh my gosh, I just
want to do.
Yeah, I just saw Winona Grove's Wizard of Oz, and I was like, I would like to play the lion. That would be fun. You
would be really, really, really good at that.
I don't know. I got a couple more years still until I age out.
I'm totally not saying that you're my age, God forbid. I don't want to put you in that category. But there's certain roles you think you got to do them while you're young, to do those roles.
Yeah.
And you've done so much, in your career already.
Yeah.
And that you always had that little thing back. Geez, I wish I would have that opportunity to do that role.
I think I'm good. I'm taking it's going to be a few years till I perform again. So yeah, I've got.
Is there something that you but maybe haven't coming up that you would want to put yourself in?
No, not no. I'm happy. I'm happy directing. So
good.
And the artistic director job is a big one. So yeah.
True. That's very, very, very true. Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm so happy that you took time out of your incredibly busy schedule to come today, because I was so kind of disappointed. We were like, can you do it here? No. Can we do it then? No. Can we do it then? No. Yeah. I can't do it here. I can't do it here. So I'm beyond thrilled. And I'm so happy for you, because since I first met you, I've always said, here's somebody that's going to have a great career ahead of them. And I was so pleased when CTM finally said, yes, let's just make him the artistic director, because it's the obvious choice.
Thank you.
And continuous success in everything you do. And I can't wait to see what's happening.
Well, thank you for supporting the arts in our community, and this, is so important. So thank you for spreading awareness and giving us a platform.
Absolutely. So make sure number one, you go and see Candide.
Yeah.
It's Friday and the Sunday, right?
Friday and
Only
Sunday.
2 performances.
Yeah.
At the Overture Center and Overture Hall.
Yep.
Make sure you go and see Diary Van Frank.
Yep.
At the Playhouse.
Yeah.
And then go to the Sylvie and see some incredible, talented people do everything on Broadway. Everything's a show tune.
Yes. There'll be a lot of show tunes that
So
love it. That's good.
Again, thank you so much, Brian.
Thanks,
and
Michael.
we'll see you next time on Biz Buzz with me.